Welcome to today's Fans Discussing Fandom stream. We are going to be first talking about news like we always do, and then we're going to talk about Thunderbolts and what is it?
Final Destination.
Final Destination Bloodlines. And basically giving a review of both of those, spoilers with them, good, bad, rating at the end, that sort of stuff. So before we do that, a bit of news.
I haven't been on a stream yet, so do you want to introduce me?
This is Michael.
Hello.
He's joined previously on a couple when we were doing Spotify. He was on a couple ones, but this is his first stream with our new streaming method at FDF.
It's exciting. I've never done a YouTube stream. I don't know if that number there means that we have one viewer.
That is what that means.
Okay, so we have, and that's you. So, so we have no viewers.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice.
But yeah, so we'll see if he is good in today's stream. He might be kicked out after this, but we'll see.
Oh, shit.
So first things first, Marvel Rivals. 2 new skins this week. We have a Thor one where it's basically like kind of like royalty looking, which is kind of cool. He has like a sash and like gold, which is kind of cool. And then Punisher skin for his Daredevil Born Again look and Daredevil Born Again and like his Netflix look as well. So that's cool. Those are the skins for this week. And then Fantastic Four also got a final trailer, which it showed us a lot. Actually, now that I think about it. We saw the baby, and we saw the Thing with a beard,
yes,
which I love, and is comic accurate. He has had a beard a couple of times in the comics, but it makes me very confused as to how he has a beard, because we see him with a beard and without the beard. Therefore, unless this movie takes place in like a couple thousand years, how is he growing the beard? Without time travel stuff?
It's a good question. I don't really know. He's made of rocks. Is he able to just...
That doesn't mean he can grow a beard in a day.
I don't know.
Plus the baby. Because we see Sue being pregnant with the baby. And then we see the baby as a baby. And like a grown baby, not just fresh out of the womb baby. So that makes me a bit confused with how that is a thing.
Probably some time stuff. The trailer also definitely made me think that their universe is 100% getting destroyed.
Oh yeah. So it's the only way they can join the MCU. But also imagine, this is just a quick question. For Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, do you want the Thing to keep the beard?
No.
Why?
He
looks so good.
I didn't like it that much. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you're just a hater.
What I will say, though, it kind of ties into the news piece, is that Kevin Feige said that the spaceship that we see at the end of Thunderbolts is not the Fantastic Four.
I'm assuming it's Doom.
Yeah.
And that's how he basically to the MCU.
He basically hinted at that.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
That's fun.
Yeah. No, we know they're going to be in Avengers Doomsday.
I realized I just spoiled an after credit scene without warning anybody about that.
Yeah,
so
how dare you?
I'm so sorry, viewers, that we don't currently have, but might later.
But yeah, so that's it for the news. Just a couple of things. And now we'll do Thunderbolts first. So right off the bat, I do think Thunderbolts was very good. Just overall, characters was good, plot was good, Sentry was good. I also like how they didn't nerf him, which is what the MCU does do a lot of times with their villains. Because comically, Sentry could boat wipe this team in 2 seconds flat, and he did in the movie, which was good to see that they didn't nerf him at all.
No, he was very powerful.
Yeah, so that was good. And then the actor also was good as Sentry.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. What about you for Thunderbolts?
I mean, I really liked this movie. This was probably we've had a lot of movies since.
Endgame.
Is it since Endgame? Because there were a few good ones at first after Endgame, and then when did things go downhill? Would have been
The
after No
Marvels.
Way Home. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
think that
thinking.
was the breaking
So
point.
like, I think this is probably the best movie since like No Way Home kind of era.
Yeah.
I mean, the writing was just like actually really strong. Like you had a really good story that they were telling. Like this is definitely the first MCU movie to deal with like depression too, and like
Mhm.
what is the meaning of life and that kind of a thing, which is not something that you'd really expect from a superhero movie. So that was actually really kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the acting was really great. I enjoyed the fact that Sentry was really powerful. They didn't dumb him down at all. And I think the chemistry between the actors was also like really strong, and like the characters that they chose for the movie.
Yeah.
I think that it was well put together.
What did you think of probably the most impotent and the most prevalent character, Taskmaster?
Taskmaster played such a major role in this
She
movie.
really did.
It's so hard to
So many cool moments.
Yeah,
one-liners.
it's really hard to lock down like a favorite moment with Taskmaster, just because like she really brought everything all together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Thunderbolts would have never become the Thunderbolts had it not been for Taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was sarcasm. Taskmaster gets killed, which honestly,
Right away, just gone.
I'm happy they
Immediately.
did do that because nobody liked this version of Taskmaster. She was not good. And they could have made her cool in this movie, but at the same time, it's like we don't need her hair, so let's just take her away at the very beginning.
Yeah,
And that was good that they did that, in my opinion.
I think it was a reasonable choice. I mean, like I said, all the characters that were actually in the movie
Mhm.
for like the majority of it, like had really good chemistry. So I don't know how the dynamic would have been had they left Taskmaster in.
Yeah. Ghost was good. Like she came back from Ant-Man 2 and she was good in this movie as like basically the comic relief. Her and Red Guardian were the comic reliefs of this movie.
Red Guardian was
And they were
definitely
both very
comic
good.
relief, yeah.
US Agent was also very good. I feel like compared to the TV show with Cap and Bucky, I feel like he was a lot better in this.
He was much better in this.
Yeah. And just like looked better visually, had a better costume, and just again like fought and like acted better.
You just get a little bit more backstory in this movie too, and like you get more of a reason to actually like give a damn about him.
Yeah.
So
he was good. And then Bucky was Bucky. Like
he was the same.
Bucky's the same.
He was the same. I mean, he was trying something new, but that didn't work out. So,
Yeah.
he just went back to doing his thing.
Yeah.
He did put his arm in a dishwasher, but
he took it out of a dishwasher.
He took it out of the dishwasher.
He has to clean it somehow.
Apparently you dishwash it.
Yeah.
Apparently robotic arms are dishwasher safe.
It is like it's not adamantium, vibranium. It is vibranium.
Yeah, well, it confirms that any of the robotic parts that are in his arm are completely waterproof and dishwasher safe.
Yeah.
So kudos to I can't remember who made his arm.
Wakanda.
Okay, kudos to the Wakandan people for having that forward thinking to make such a great waterproof design.
Yep.
And
then Yelena was also very good. Like she was the main character of this movie.
She was.
And like again, she was good in Hawkeye, and she was very good in this as her own lead in the movie.
Definitely.
For me also, I was very worried when before this movie came out that they were gonna do some BS to defeat Sentry because of the power scale between them.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it was some like BS with how they defeated him, but it did make sense in the movie, and it did,
It did.
they did build that, and it did make sense.
Yeah, and it wasn't
So,
like they like used their powers necessarily to like overcome him either. So
I mean, they couldn't have.
no,
They
no.
tried, but yeah, so that that made sense. It made sense without nerfing Sentry, which is kind of what I'm trying to get at. So that was good. The one negative, in my opinion, I would say, is by the end of the movie, this movie clarifies the Thunderbolts as the new Avengers. Personally, I hate that with a passion because they're not new Avengers. New Avengers are like Spider-Man, Wolverine, The Thing, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Luke Cage, and like Jessica Jones. That's the new Avengers, or at least that's my new Avengers that I know and I've read about. But these people aren't new Avengers. They're not powered enough to defeat an Avengers level threat. Some of them are criminals and not superheroes and aren't trying to be superheroes. Therefore, they are not new Avengers. They work as Thunderbolts, and I like them as the Thunderbolts, but they're not the new Avengers. But yeah, I guess anything else before we can go into final ratings?
No, I think like they work for me. How I feel about it, I feel like they work as the new Avengers for now because like nobody else has kind of teamed or banded together, so or like filled that gap. And in the movie, they kind of stumble into this. It wasn't like they
That doesn't make it better.
Wasn't like they chose to become the new Avengers. It was like they kind of ended up there. So I feel like for me, it makes enough sense for now. They do have some relatively powerful characters like on their team, and
one powerful character with a very big handicap.
Okay, well, again, a lot of these characters fall into other old Avengers characters, like Yelena can fall under Black Widow.
We're not having this
Red Garden
conversation
can fall under
again.
Captain America, kind of a thing.
No,
so
but okay.
It does sort of fit in that sense, and I think that in later movies like Spider-Man and like Wolverine and some of these other characters that are known to be the new Avengers are gonna like become part of the team, and then you're gonna have like a
movies. There's 2 more movies.
Yeah,
that's it.
They're gonna band together. Obviously, that's how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my take on it. But yeah, let's go into review.
Yeah. So final numbers.
Numbers, yes. Ranking.
For me, yes, that's the one. I would say 9.
That's exactly.
Like, there's not really any. There's no major issues or plot holes with it. Like, there's just minor stuff, and that's really it. So I would say 9.
Yeah,
worth watching. But if you do watch it, like Wonin, it's not a fun movie. Like in terms of like the theme.
Yeah, the theme.
It's not a fun theme because it's depression, and they all have something that they're hating themselves about.
Yeah.
So yes, there are fun and funny moments, but the overall vibe is very dark and kind of depressing. So
yeah,
just fair warning.
Weirdly, it's like they've definitely dealt with like I feel like Marvel has dealt with more gruesome like themes before, and like so it's been dark in that sense, but like this is definitely the most emotionally dark Marvel movie that we've gotten, but it does have some funny moments. So yeah, but yes, I would also rank it 9 out of 10. That is exactly what I was thinking. So
okay. And then before we move on to Final Destination, there is an after credit scene which he spoiled earlier. Whoops. Where you see the team like 6 months later or something. You see the team, and they see a live feed of a ship breaking orbit and coming to the planet. The ship has the Fantastic Four logo on it, and it looks like the Fantastic Four ship from the movie.
The upcoming movie.
I know you've said Kevin Feige said it's not the Fantastic Four.
Well, he's hinted at it.
Okay, so
he suggested that the ship might not be from Fantastic Four's universe.
Oh, so it could be like the X-Men in this ship.
Let me check what he said exactly.
Because if he specified universe,
What did he
then
say
like
about
it
that?
could be like the Fox X-Men, not like Fox X-Men coming in with the Fox like Fantastic Foe or something like that if he specified like universe.
Let me see what he said. So he had an interesting answer for whether or not the ship seen in Thunderbolts post-credit scene is the Fantastic Four's Excelsior ship. He said, well, the name of their ship is the Excelsior, and there is a Fantastic Four ship entering the MCU in the tag, but I'm not sure they're the same ship. That's what he said.
Okay, so who do you think it is then?
Probably Doom, yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Doom.
It is probably Dr.
From
Doom.
the new movie.
Yep.
You know what also I find interesting? We still haven't seen him in any kind of trailers or anything. Doom? Yeah. They haven't even like hinted at him.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
It concerns me a little bit because I feel like we're gonna launch into like these next Avengers movies, and it's like we've had no build up to like Doom being a villain, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like boom, oh my gosh, we have like we're suddenly doing Infinity War and Endgame all over again, except we haven't had any of the build up that Infinity War and Endgame had.
Yeah, because
that concerns me.
Yeah, I was under the assumption because like for me, that buildup needs to be in the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity to build that relationship between Doctor Doom and Mr. Fantastic, because their relationship is the foundation of Secret Wars. So that's where you do it. But again, we haven't seen Doctor Doom in any trailers. They haven't hinted at him. They haven't like shown a quick shot where it's like the back of his head and where you speculate like, oh, is that Doctor Doom? It's just like Galactus.
And again, it's like, you know, they're only going to have one movie to build this tension now. I mean, like when it came to Infinity War and Endgame, they built it across a ton of movies.
Yeah.
And like we had post-credit scenes featuring Thanos. And yeah.
Yeah. So that's concerning.
A little bit for me.
But we'll see. Again, the movie is not out, so they could still have Doctor Doom in Fantastic Four. But we have to wait and see.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was Thunderbolts. Now, Final Destination Bloodlines. So, firstly, I was forced into watching this movie. This was not my choice. But I have never seen any of the Final Destination. I just have no interest in them because they're too bloody and like needlessly violent for me. Kind of like Saw. Versus Michael has seen like
a few. No, I've seen. So when it comes to Final Destination, I haven't watched all of them. I watched the first one.
Okay.
And I think I've watched the fifth one. So I went into it having the general lore. I mean, the good news with Final Destination is that each movie kind of has its own like set of characters because death is coming for all of them. So, you know, none of them necessarily last from one movie to the next.
Yeah.
You know, by the time you get around to the next movie, like, you know, death's moved on to another, you know, set of victims kind of a thing.
Yep.
So, so yeah, I knew the general lore from having seen the first one and then also the fifth. So yeah, but this one was really interesting.
Yeah. So just those are the two perspectives between us when talking about this movie. Someone who dislikes the premise and someone who likes the premise. So
yeah, I want to watch the rest of them now that I've seen like 3 of these.
Yeah. I do like I think the movie was good. Like again, someone who doesn't like the needlessly violent deaths and like gruesome deaths. Aside from those, I liked the actors. They had good chemistry in the movie. The deaths themselves was set up very nicely with like, you think this is how he's going to die, but it goes a different way, like things like that, which is, you know, is what Final Destination is known for. So that was good. And I liked that. And then the leads were good. The music was good as well.
Music was
found.
great. The music was
Especially
fantastic.
the like very first song in the club in the tower.
Yes.
Because I still listen to that song now. It's such a good song.
It is. It is. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was good. Visually too, in terms of like the CG and like just the
CGI was
big
great.
moments, all looked
CGI was
very
really
good.
good, yeah.
And I know they did have some practical effects in there. Like for example, the garbage truck was elevator.
No, maybe, but
Where like it was the dude's head and the thing came like this and like cut his head in the middle.
I'm trying to remember that.
Maybe it was a different Final Destination movie, but I'm pretty sure it was this one.
I'm just having a hard time remember. But you're right that they did use practical effects. Like there was the moment in the hospital.
Oh yeah, I saw a clip of that recently.
The hospital death.
Yeah.
That was practical. That was really cool.
Yeah, so that all looked very good.
It looked very real.
I also appreciate that I don't know the actor's name, but the dude who died in the hospital with the piercings.
Oh yeah.
I really love that actor from the 100 TV show. So it was really cool to see him in a big budget movie just because I love that actor. So he was fun for me watching him.
Another positive of this movie was that they gave a really great send-off to Tony Todd's character in the movie, who he plays Bloodworth in like the Final Destination movies, if you've seen them. And like Tony Todd is like a super famous like horror actor. Like he's been in a lot of like other horror movie franchises.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Candyman.
But
like he's been in other ones too. And yeah, I mean, they like at the time of filming Final Destination Bloodlines, he was like really sick. I can't remember. He might have had cancer or something like that that he was battling. And he knew at that point that it was going to be terminal. And so the directors actually gave him the opportunity to like, as his character, but also kind of as himself, like when he was leaving the scene, you know, yeah, just say, you know, what you'd want the fans to like, you know. And it was honestly like the most perfect send off for both his character and also himself as like a human being.
Yeah,
like it was everything you could probably ever want in that. So
and it was just a nice line in the movie.
Oh,
like if you don't know any of that backstory, it was just a good line.
It was a great line, and he improvised it. So like,
yeah,
great, genius, fantastic. So
yeah, that was all very good. Yeah, anything else about it?
I mean, you know, if you're a fan of Final Destination, you're probably a fan of like all the various crazy ways that death kills people, and you're gonna get a lot of that in this movie. And some of them are like, yeah, some of them are kind of like, you know, surprising. They're definitely gruesome. They look real. There's definitely a lot of Easter eggs and like throwbacks to like some of the other deaths in past Final Destination movies. Hint, hint, the log truck. If you thought the log truck was bad, wait until the end of this one. But yeah, I honestly thought it was a really fun movie, and that's all that you could really hope for. You get a lot of like extra lore in this movie too. It's like really cool how we're already spoiling things, aren't we? I mean, the whole point of this movie is that like this one lady who survived a terrible, you know, incident, she saved everybody in this tower that was going to crash. And so all of these people lived lives that they weren't supposed to live. So death is going through, you know, one by one, killing all these people. He gets around to her, and once he kills her, she's had all of these kids that she was never supposed to have because she wasn't supposed to live that long. And so, you know, death goes down the bloodline, and he's killing all of them, which is like a really cool piece of lore that like has never really come up in Final Destination. It's usually just like, oh, these people survived this incident, so death is gonna like kill them. But you know, here you have someone who survived long enough to have a whole family. And so, you know, how does that work? So that was really cool. It like Bloodworth's character too also gets some like really, really interesting lore. And it kind of gives, because in the past Final Destination movies, he's just kind of been a mysterious figure. And
Mhm.
you're like, oh, what's going on here? And then you find out that, like, he too is like, was someone who was supposed to die in that building, and he survived. And you find out that, like, he's gonna die now because death has finally gotten around to, like, it being his turn. So it's all really interesting. Yeah, it was really great from a lore standpoint. Characters were great, the actors had good chemistry, it was a good story, gruesome violent deaths, cool practical effects. Yeah.
I know for me as well. I know, like, horror movies have like the staples. For example, um, like Jason movies have, like, whenever they do like something naughty, he's always kicking down their door to kill them. And like slasher movies, there's always the like final goal who survives. Final Destination's like gimmick is kind of like, in this movie, for example, at the end, the characters who you've seen survive throughout the movie get killed in the end. I know that's the gimmick of the franchise, and therefore it gets a free pass from me. But personally, I don't like that.
I was disappointed by that too. The movie makes you think that they get to survive because
Yeah.
they've cheated death.
Mhm.
Like, there's a moment where the next person in line to die, seemingly has died, and then she's revived through CPR. But then 6 months later, they find out that, like, if she was revived through CPR, like, she wasn't dead. She fell unconscious, and he brought
Yeah.
her back through resuscitation. It's not the same as, like, jump starting your heart with, like, a defibrillator. So
Yeah.
so for that reason, they still end up dying, which is really unfortunate, because you're like, oh, this is great. This is a happy ending. This is
Yeah.
fantastic. And then it's like, wow, even they couldn't outrun death. Which, again, it does play into, like, Final Destination's trope, where it's like, you can't cheat death forever.
Mhm.
But, like, it did kind of piss me off just a little bit, just a tiny
Yeah.
bit.
Because, like, for me, for example, it made the whole movie like pointless. Because they just die in the end anyway. So it's like,
They die in
the struggle doesn't matter then.
they die with a tribute to the log truck, though. So
So
there's at least that. But, like, at the same time, it
I have
sucked.
no feelings
sucked a little
towards this
bit.
log truck. So
I haven't seen the second one yet, so I can't say that I have super strong feelings for the
Exactly.
log truck either. But yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah, so that's, again, like, it gets a free pass because it's the gimmick of the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah. So final number, what would you give it?
Oh, let me think here. I'm just trying to think if there's any reason that I really wouldn't give it a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really any reason that I wouldn't give it a 9 out of 10. I'm leaning towards 8 out of 10, but I can't say that there's any reason that it's not a 9 out of 10. I mean, I'm just, like, a little miffed that they killed, like, the characters who
That's
were supposed
fair.
to live at the end.
Yeah.
That sucked. Like, but other than that, I mean, like, yeah, it was honestly kind of the perfect Final Destination movie, and just a good movie in general. It was fun. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I wouldn't say that it's like it was really good, but yeah, I don't know. How do you feel?
I would give it a 9, just because, like Thunderbolts, again, for me, there aren't any major plot holes. There
No.
aren't any major issues.
There's no major issues. No.
Again, there's only minor stuff. And, like, compared to Thunderbolts, this has less minor stuff, in my opinion, than
Definitely.
Thunderbolts.
This was a tight movie. Like,
Just because,
very
like,
well scripted.
The little things from Thunderbolts don't come from, like, Thunderbolts. It comes from the universe that they're in, and them trying to make a movie within this big universe, and things not lining up within the big universe. But this doesn't have that.
No, this was perfectly set up within the universe. In fact, it built
behind
upon
it.
it. It
So,
built upon it. So
yeah, I
in
would
a way
say
that was
9.
smart.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's a 9. That's a 9. Let's be real. I'm just upset that they killed the characters. But
You
yeah,
are.
that's okay.
Get over it, Michael.
I should.
I got over the death of my favorite actor. Not favorite actor, but one of my favorite actors, honestly.
He put some piercings.
You can get over this.
He put some piercings in some very unfortunate places, and it led to his death, you know?
Yeah. Which was funny, but also it was a very violent.
Just a little bit, yeah.
It was a bit much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was Thunderbolts. That was Final Destination Bloodlines.
Mhm.
Thank you all for listening, watching. Like, yeah, that's the same thing. So watching, check out our other videos, our other streams. We have another stream up talking about Doctor Who and basically like the downfall of the latest 2 seasons. And like the future of Doctor Who, what I kind of want from it, because he wasn't here for that one. So check that out if you're a fan of Doctor Who.
So you're saying that now's not a good time for me to jump into Doctor Who, eh?
No.
Okay.
Do not check out the new Doctor. He's not
good to know.
Start from 10
Okay.
and then work your way forwards.
Right. Okay.
No, start from 9. 9's also good, but he's not as good as like 10 or 11 or 12.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, check us out on our other things. We stream twice a week, so come by every week to check out when we're streaming. We will be posting when we stream on the Instagram at Fans Discussing Fandoms. So follow us there so you know when we're streaming. We also put up like which comics are releasing this week, as well as favorite variant covers for those comics. So if you like comics, check us out there for that stuff. We talk about comics, games, movies, TV shows. We also present like just fun topics within those different things. So check us out if you like those topics. And yeah, thank you for joining, Michael.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome.
Thanks for coming out to Final Destination, even though you didn't want to.
Yeah, I got free stuff out of it, so I'm happy.
He survived.
Yeah. At least it wasn't the Madam Web. That was bad.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's bad.
I still kind of want to.
Maybe we'll talk about it eventually.
Okay.
We'll just do like a Sony movie stream. Talk about all the Sony movies because they're all bad.
Should do a drunk movie watching stream.
I would be down for that.
Okay.
But yeah, so we do a lot of fun stuff. Or like we're starting to, because we're just starting to do these consistent streams. So yeah, we will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
Goodbye.